Aries, welcome to April 2019. My name is Colleen and this is my channel Arcana Rising. Please like, share, and subscribe. Today we are doing a general reading for the month of April for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And I am just shuffling all the cards and I'm going to deal them out. And once I get all the cards out, I'm going to angle the camera down so that you can see what's going on. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to do a pick a card thing. I'm going to put out some oracle cards and you can choose which one resonates the most with you, and I will read those meanings from there. So a little fun treat at the end. Okay, so while I'm shuffling, I just wanted to kind of talk about what's going on in the sky this month. Mercury stationed direct on March 28th. Yay! So we don't have to deal with that, energy anymore. I feel like March was definitely an intense month for everyone, getting in their feels and getting in their head and getting, kind of lost a little bit. So I'm feeling like April is going to, especially with this fiery Aries energy, we're definitely going to want to get back into the groove of things again. Because I feel like we kind of slowed down a lot in March, which is necessary for us, at different times of the year. There's a time for, for rest, and there's a time for action. So it's possible that April may be a time for action for you, but we will see. We will see what's going on. Oh, thank you. So we have a new moon in your sign Aries on April 5th. April 5th / April 6th, depending on where you are in the world. And it kind of slips into Taurus as well. But it's a great time for setting some great intentions for the month. Obviously, the new moon is fantastic for that. But it's also a good time for you to intend on, seeking more independence, kind of finding your groove again. And, so just, it would be good to direct your intention in that kind of a direction. How can you make April your bitch, basically? But also at the same time, we're going to have some pretty intense retrogrades beginning this month as well, and they're going to continue through for like pretty much the rest of the year, or at least the next 6 months or so. So we're going to have Jupiter on, oh, I didn't talk about the full moon. So the full moon, well, we'll get back to that. The full moon on April 19th. Thank you. Sorry, I was just kind of asking the cards, like, come on, let's go. Okay, so the full moon on April 19th is in Libra / Scorpio. And that is definitely a time for finding that spiritual balance again, because maybe with this month we may be really getting focused on the external world, and the full moon kind of checks us back in to the internal world. Okay, so the retrogrades, we have Jupiter going retrograde on April 10th. And Jupiter is the lucky planet, and it's been in its sign of Sagittarius for a while. So now that it's retrograding, it's interesting. I feel like we kind of felt like a real pull in the beginning of the month, beginning of the year, with a drive to go in a certain direction, and really feeling that pull to go there. And I'm kind of feeling like maybe this is like we were really like getting fully into it. March kind of pulled us back a little bit. So I'm wondering if maybe we're starting to understand what Jupiter is going to be bringing for us from March. Jupiter is very expansive and really wants you to, see all the possibilities and really reach for them and like go for it. And this fiery Aries energy is going to make us really want to reach for it. So once Jupiter turns retrograde, it's kind of like, okay, this is, how much is too much, as far as like where you're expanding. Maybe we're feeling a little bit, maybe we're finding a little bit of difficulty in the beginning of the month with like where our focus is going to be, with where our goals are. Maybe we have too many goals or are seeing way, way too far in the future. And this Jupiter retrograde is kind of like, bringing us back in a little bit. Especially since Saturn's going to be doing the same thing. We'll talk about that in a second. But like, kind of saying like, all right, so you've really reached as far as you believe that you can. So like, let's like work with that and stop reaching. You know what I mean? Like what you've got going on is good. So stop reaching for more right now. And like just kind of understanding that there's a time for expanding and there's a time for contracting in a way, so you're not overexhausting yourself with that fiery energy basically. And that's going to continue for a few months this year. So there's, understanding when the best time to really reach for things is, and then understanding when the best time to just like hone in on what you've been reaching for, like putting your focus on something in a way, because it's going to be really beneficial for you. It's just a matter of like, containing it in a way so that you can nurture it and make it grow into something great instead of planting like 5 million seeds. Like take the seeds that you've already planted and like nurture those instead of going out and getting more seeds so you can plant more. You know what I mean? So we also have Pluto going retrograde on the 24th towards the end of the year, towards the end of the month, and that is talking about transformation and being open to change. So Pluto's going to really push us to accept the transformations that are coming into our lives. Things are shifting for us, and it's shifting in a positive way. So there's possibility that it may not feel like it's very positive at first, but there's a clearing away so that you can see what matters most. So that you can make room for what's coming, and so that you can accept, what's meant for you instead of wasting all this time on things that are not meant for you. You know what I mean? So it's a very transformational time. It's a time of just like being open to that change. So let yourself be open to the changes that are coming. The more you resist, the more it's gonna suck, basically. And then we also have Saturn going retrograde on April 30th, and that is calling us to really get more disciplined, obviously. And I feel like this is happening at the same time as Jupiter, as a way of like, because Jupiter has this limitless expansion, and Saturn kind of sets that limit. You know what I mean? Like, here's the limit, like stop here. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's happening at the same time for that reason, so that we can, really hone in on what we've been working on, for the last, I feel like it's been building up for a long time, and we started to get somewhere great this year, and now it's time to like really nurture that as we continue through this year, wherever our focus is. Like, this is where you want to be, this is what you need to do. You need to just get more disciplined and like plan out what you're doing, instead of kind of just like, going with the flow and like flying by the seat of your pants. Works to a certain extent, and then you want to get in some structure. So that's what's coming up this month. I feel like in the beginning of retrogrades, there's like this weird vibrational thing that we have to get used to being in. So we're going to kind of feel it more intensely when these, shift into retrograde. And then we'll kind of get used to it, as the months progress, and we'll get into that flow. And then once they are ready to go direct again, we may feel a little bit of like a, as they kind of, get back into the groove of things. So that's just my personal perception of retrogrades. You may feel the same way, or you may not. Whatever. So, okay. Thank you for listening to all of that. And now I'm going to angle the camera down and share these cards with you, and we'll talk about what you can expect for April. I just want to make sure it's, angled right. Alright, cool. Put a little crystal over here so you can feel all zen with me. Okay, so there we go. We have these cards here. I've got the theme, challenge, and first, second, third, and fourth quarters of the month. You can see, you can like consider them like weeks, but I feel like time is really fluid, especially when it comes to reading tarot. So, they may kind of blend in to each other. So just keep that in mind. So I would just say, like, this would be more towards the beginning of the month. This would be more towards the end of the month. Okay, Aries. So we have the Eight of Pentacles as the theme this month. And this is all about, what I was talking about with that Saturn energy, kind of like honing in on your skills and, getting down to business, perfecting your craft, and, working on the details that need to be worked on now before you get more busy. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like picturing someone with an Etsy site that has like things for sale, like say they're selling crystals, or no, say they're selling like candles that they make, and they have probably like 5 in stock for each style candle that they have. This is kind of saying this may be a great month for you to, fill up your inventory, like really just get to work and make a back stock of all of these candles, because it's going to benefit you in the long run. Like, I could really see a lot of business coming your way, and you needing to keep up with the orders. You know what I mean? So like, getting your priorities straight, getting things in order now before it, kind of bites you in the butt. You know what I mean? But also there's, understanding that you have gotten to a point in your life where you have found what your niche is in life, and it's saying to nurture that, to really work with that, because it's going to benefit you greatly in the months and the years ahead, and especially this month. It feels like wherever your talents and or skills are, this is where you need to be placing your focus and just nurturing them and perfecting them. Practice, constant practice and perfecting, but not like being obsessive about it, but just strengthening those skills, because they are going to benefit you in the long run, or they could also be financially beneficial for you. So this feels like it's a month of focus and discipline. So we have the Five of Cups as the challenge this month, and this is a when I see the 5, I think of change. And this guy here is, focusing on the cups that have spilled over and mourning the loss of what was contained within them. And, cups in general are representative of the emotions, of relationships, of love, spirituality, things to that degree. So there is, maybe your focus is on, emotion. So it's kind of saying like your challenge is not to place your focus on what has gone wrong for you in the past, because there's, there's opportunities right here, right behind you, that are ready to be, taken and run with. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, where is your focus this month is really important. Keeping your focus on, what's ahead instead of what's behind you. Because what is ahead of you is very beneficial for you, is very fortunate, and, I could see a lot of luck. I feel like you're in your power when you focus on the present moment and the possibilities of the future. I feel like there's a lot of, it just feels very negative, and the vibe is like really low when you look at this card. This guy is just like, you can't console him. He's really depressed, and it's like you can't control what's happened in the past. You can only control where you are now and where you're going. So you're wasting so much energy, thinking about everything that's gone wrong emotionally. Maybe there was a breakup recently that you're really wrapped up in, or it could have been months ago or years ago, and it still kind of comes back and haunts you. Maybe it's, I don't know, it could be a multitude of things. So, or maybe it's just getting wrapped up in depressing, mental states. So it's also kind of saying like, let's nurture our mental health this month so that we can support ourselves moving forward, because we have so much to offer ourselves and this world, that to spend this time and energy in something that we can't control is really detrimental to our health, So that's the theme and challenge for this month. It feels like the beginning of April, we're very, caught up in our feels, caught up in the, nostalgia, the getting, kind of looking to the past here with this energy is what's going on. Like, I feel like childhood stuff is coming up. This is the Six of Cups. Yeah, this is the Six of Cups. And it's a little kid giving flowers to another little kid. And it feels very sweet. It's a very sweet gesture. So there's like the childhood vibes that kind of pull you back. You're like kind of getting into those feels of what things used to be like, or it could be referring to like an innocence kind of feeling coming up in the beginning of this month, where you could be trusting too quickly, or there's like a naivete kind of coming about here. So just be cautious with the people that you are trusting. If they are offering something that may seem like it's too good to be true. So that could be something, someone is like offering you gifts and you're accepting them right away and being like, wow, this person's great, I really trust them. So, you know, it could be for your benefit. It could be something to just be cautious of. You know, if that's something that is coming up in the beginning of this month. But also, I kind of feel like maybe this is where your focus is going in the beginning of the month, with this challenge card, kind of going towards the past, all the way back to childhood. Maybe there are some wounds that need to be healed back in your childhood. So you could be working through that the beginning of this month. So it could be a couple different things, like, you know, be cautious of what's being offered to you. And also, you know, be cautious of how much energy and focus you're putting into your past. There could be a level of healing that could be occurring if you work through your past, feels your emotions connected to it in a productive way. But if you start finding yourself just kind of getting stuck here, that's when, you know, there's a red flag. So it's okay to like look to the past, or you know, have those feelings of nostalgia. It's just, as long as it's not paralyzing you, is where we need to be cautious. That's all. Okay. So we have the Three of Wands here. Very fiery. This is also the beginning of the month, the first and second weeks of the month. This is the Three of Wands, and this guy has started on a journey, and then he's come to this place of like uncertainty in a way, where he's kind of just taking in, what's the word? He's just kind of like taking in how far he's come and what's up ahead, and deciding if he still wants to continue forward. Maybe just kind of like looking up to see if he's still on the path that he wants to be on. You know, observing what's ahead and deciding if he wants to continue through. And when I see wands or anything in the tarot that's set up, you know, to both sides of a person in the card like this, I see this as a gateway as well. So you've come to a point where you need to kind of step into your fiery power and move forward with what it is that you have been doing. So maybe there's a level of hesitancy because of, you know, what's been coming up from your past. And maybe that's what kind of like put the brakes on your journey, and why you're kind of taking in your surroundings to see if this is still what you want to do. Like there's almost a little level of doubt here, but also a level of, you know, setting your eyes on what's ahead again, like getting refocused. So it could go either way, depending on the energy, which energy you choose to get into. And I feel like this is the point where it's like, are you going to do this? Are you doing this or not? You know what I mean? Because once you start doing this, then it's, you know, game on. Game on. So if you're feeling like you're kind of standing on a ledge here, unsure about whether or not to move forward, I'm going to say moving forward is the best option for you. There's a lots of possibilities and lots of creative, motivational fieriness coming up with that card. That's really like, go, just go. Like, why are you hesitating? You know? Okay. So we have the Page of Cups in reverse here. And it's kind of, I almost kind of see this as like, when, I almost feel like this is when Jupiter kind of goes retrograde, you know, kind of pulls back on that expansive imagination and kind of says, let's focus on what's real. Let's kind of focus on what's real again. And then see the possibilities in that. You know what I mean? Like, what have we manifested so far with our imagination, you know, and taking that thing and, you know, working with that to make that grow into something fantastic. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the Page of Cups is a very creative and a very imaginative card. And he's all about, like, painting the picture of his life and, you know, being eccentric and being weird. Oh, hold on one second. So, sorry, I just had to shut the door because my husband just got home. So, Page of Cups is all about being eccentric, getting into your originality, getting all goofy and stuff like that. And then, like, Jupiter kind of goes retrograde around this time, and it kind of puts a halt on that feeling of originality, a feeling of being unique. So maybe there's kind of a insecurity here. Not sure whether or not you want to continue growing in this way. So that's something to really consider as well with this card. But also just kind of, you know, honing in on what you've gotten imaginative with so far instead of, like, continuing to go further and further with that creativity and imagination. Like, let's bring it, like, almost like, yeah, let's just, like, bring that into the physical plane and, like, contain it now. You know what I mean? But also this could be about love and, like, doing, like, grand gestures of love. So the Page of Cups is really, you know, super lovey-dovey. He's a step down from the Knight of Cups, who's, like, way over the top, smothering with love. So he could be, he's kind of like the teenager, you know, getting into those innocent relationships and really getting wrapped up in, you know, all of that. And this way, there could be more of a focus on your personal relationship with yourself and really bringing in the self-love here as well, and nurturing that. Yeah. Instead of, like, giving it out to everyone, it's like bringing it in and seeing where you go with that. So that could be, like, going from that expansive Jupiter energy and then contracting it inwards and bringing that love and that creativity inwards. Okay. And then we have the Four of Swords in reverse here. And this is good. This is a sign of action. He's been chilling here, you know, contemplating, reflecting, meditating, and like, so it could be either way. So it could be saying like you've been stuck in the mental realm, like feeling paralyzed and inability to move forward for too long. Like there's a time for rest and there's a time for action, and maybe you took a rest or some time for yourself to really meditate and like get refocused and do a little self-review. And now it's kind of saying, all right, get off your ass, let's get moving. Like, don't get paralyzed, don't get too comfortable with where you are right now in the mental aspects of the self. So this is the Four of Swords. Swords are all about the mental aspects, about communication as well. So it's kind of saying like, don't get stuck in your head. We need to take, you know, we need to take those things and put them into action now. So this is interesting. There's like healing going on. So it kind of goes back and forth between action and then like internal work for self-healing. And maybe that's just because of these, you know, transformative retrogrades that are coming up. So we've got like, you know, the Six of Cups and the Page of Cups reverse, talking about your past and going inwards for self-love and healing. And then we have the Three of Wands and the Four of Swords in reverse, both telling you to start moving again. So it kind of just like, it goes back and forth this month between getting caught in your feels and needing to heal something and moving forward. So it's kind of like hitting speed bumps this month as you start getting back into action here. And it's reminding you that the more you focus on the now and what's ahead, the more work you're going to get done, the more productive you're going to feel, the more you get into these, like in those speed bumps. It's like you're driving down a road and there's a speed bump. You can, and if you get caught in this is like going over the speed bump and like parking on top of the speed bump, you know what I mean? Instead of continuing over it and moving forward, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a little glitch in the system, and you know, and then the road's smooth again. So like, not getting caught up in the fact that there's a bump there is really important this month. Let me see if there's anything I want to clarify. And you know what? I think I'm going to clarify that Page of Cups reverse before we move into the pick a card. Strength. So inner strength is needed, definitely. Like going inwards to find the strength to help you move forward is really, because there is a level of insecurity that can be coming up with this Page of Cups in reverse. So it's really important to just like really tap into our strength this month, really tap into our power this month so that we keep going. And like, we have been in this place of almost, I want to say stagnancy, or feeling like things have kind of lulled or stalled or slowed down in March. So, you know, you just kind of think of it like a kid, like a little kid learning how to walk again, you know, and tripping and falling and then getting up and then walking again, walking a couple miles and then you know, stumbling and falling, you know what I mean? So just have a little compassion for yourself. through this process, because there's a lot of energy going on in the skies this month. Yeah, so just be cautious of that. Okay, so we have pick a card here. So it's going to be, I know that this is reversed, so I'll do it this way. 1, 2, or 3. So pick your card, whichever one is kind of calling out to you the most. I apologize for the sunlight here. It's getting close to the end of the day. Okay, so let's start with this one. Illumination. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of inspiration coming in for you, especially around the full moon, because we have this full moon here, which is around April 19th, April 20th. And this is calling you in to really tap into that intuition again and listen to what your guides are calling you towards, because there's so many possibilities when you listen to your heart, when you listen to that intuition, when you follow, your natural cycles and honor your own pace and honor that, there's a time for moving forward and there's a time for slowing down. And just, I feel like there's going to be a lot of aha moments around the full moon for you, and things are going to kind of click right around there. So that's really good. Okay, this is the second card. Infinite blessings. So I feel like there's a lot of abundance coming your way this month, especially if you put your focus on, nurturing your inner power, nurturing your inner strength, rather than, pulling yourself into the past. The universe is really going to present you with a lot of opportunities this month to make some massive changes, and you have to, work through it, and in accepting it and kind of rolling with the punches, and whatever's coming your way, just kind of figure out a way to work with it instead of against it, and it's really going to bring a lot of great things to you. And the last one is Love Matters. Love matters, and this is really calling you to check in with your heart this month, definitely. If you're getting caught up in your feels this month, it's really important to check in with your heart and do a lot of self-care, a lot of self-nurturing this month. It's a waste of time to beat yourself up about your past. Take the lessons and leave the rest, basically, and just stay in your heart, follow it, follow whatever it's calling you to do, and extending that love to others goes a long way. And I feel like when you start to tap into your heart this month and do that self-care, there's going to be a lot of peace, lots of waves of peace coming over you, and I feel like that's really going to help you to move on from whatever is holding you back. It's going to help to heal that aspect of yourself. There you go. Okay, Aries. I'm so, sorry about that. I'm so excited for this month for you. There's so many great things that are coming our way. There may be some little speed bumps this month. Just go with it. Don't hold on to those bumps. Don't hold on to those little things that kind of pull you back. Just, I'm trying to not say let it go anymore, just because I feel like that's such a thing that everybody says, and it's like, what does that even mean? But it's just kind of let it be, accept it for what it is, and continue forward. Okay, Aries, this is going to be a great month. Keep looking forward. Stay in the present moment. Ooh, there goes my camera. Stay in the present moment, and great things will be coming your way. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in May. Take care. Bye-bye.